House of the Dragon Episode 6 Trailer Explained. With the 5th installment of the first season now being released and it finishing with the king collapsing at the wedding of Rhaenyra and Laenor, the trailer for Episode 6 was released shortly after, with it appearing as though there's going to be a time jump and there being a mix-up in the cast. It looks as though a lot has happened in what looks like just short of a decade of a time jump. So with that, I thought I'd break down the trailer and explain all that there was to take away from it. So let's get into it. Here is House of the Dragon Episode 6 Trailer Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The trailer opened up with the lines, "We should address the latest developments in the Stepstones, my lords. Where I wonder is our Prince Daemon. It was a decade ago and he has since left the region undefended." This came from a variety of different people in the council, including Queen Alicent. It seems as though there's been a time jump of around 7 or 8 years following the end of episode 5 of the show. I say this because I feel as though they're referring to it being a decade ago when Daemon originally took the Stepstones, and with there being a 3-year gap between when Daemon defeated the Crab Feeder and Rhaenyra's wedding, it would leave around 7 years since then. It's clear to see from the off that they've aged some of the cast. King Viserys looked as though his condition had deteriorated significantly over the years, judging by how tired and weak he looked, and we also have new actors playing both Rhaenyra and Alicent. This is due to the jump. The situation that's occurring in the Stepstones is most likely the Triarchian army looking to reclaim the land that they lost when Daemon defeated the Crab Feeder and named himself King of the Narrow Sea. However, with him abandoning the islands, it looks as though it is there for the taking without any defense, so this is most likely why it's being addressed in the council. Alicent made out like it was Daemon who left it undefended, but we saw that Rhaenyra responded by saying that we have left it undefended, followed by a delayed "my queen." This makes it seem like there's still unresolved conflict between the pair even after all of these years. It may have even gotten worse considering that the king is closer to death and the heir will be taking to the throne in a short while. And following episode 5 of the show, it looks as though Alicent has all intentions of preparing Aegon to be king, which would go against what has been agreed with Rhaenyra being heir. After this clip, we cut to a scene where the line, "What are children but a weakness? Through them you feel as though you can persist forever." This was intertwined with a scene of one of the Targaryen children. I don't think it's Aegon as we saw him later on, but I would imagine, judging by the age, that it could be Aemon Targaryen. It looks as though they encountered a dragon, and judging by the reaction, it's one of their first encounters with it. After this, we saw an extremely ill king, unable to stand, looking on as Aegon was sparring with an individual, and it looked as though he won, showing that there's strength within his son, foreshadowing the battle and fight that's to come. We heard the line, "You will be our king," as there was then a close-up of Aegon, showing the divide in opinion and certainty that the civil war will be going ahead later on down the line. Alicent is working on something, and this certainly confirmed it. There was no Otto Hightower in the trailer, so she may now be acting on her own behalf. Alongside this, we also had a shot of Laenor sitting there with what looked like one of her children. She has 2 children in the book, and Daemon is the father to both of them, Rhaena and Baela, and they are both twins, so I would imagine it's one of them. After this, we saw a section that was with Laenor Velaryon speaking with Daemon, and it looked as though he's grown his hair back out, where she stated, "We are the blood of old Valyria," insinuating that their dragon blood, their children, and their connection together is what ties them back to the once great empire and the power that it once held. This was also followed by shots of both Daemon and Laenor riding on their dragons. Shortly after this, we had the new Hand of the King continuing what was mentioned earlier on in the trailer by saying, "But for them, you surrender what you should not." And as this was being played, we had what I think could potentially be Rhaenyra's son. She also appeared to be holding a baby as well, so it seems as though she now has a child of her own. There was a clip of Alicent saying, "To have one child like that is a mistake. To have 3 is an insult." This makes me think that what we saw being discussed prior to going into the marriage with Laenor, she planned on having intimate relations with other people, and I would imagine she will have 3 different children with different fathers. I think that could be what Alicent was referring to. I would imagine the first child is going to be Sir Criston Cole's, judging by the dark hair and the age of the child, which would most likely mean that she didn't drink the tea that she was given by the Grand Maester in episode 4. We heard the line, "People have eyes." I think this could mean 2 different things. I think it could be referring to the king's condition weakening and that he should step down from being the ruler of Westeros due to looking vulnerable and it now being time for somebody else to step up. Or it could be alluding to the child that Rhaenyra is holding, so she may have had a child with somebody else other than her husband Laenor Velaryon, leading the child to not resemble her father's appearance. And it would further support the opinion of the public unrest of her becoming queen if she were to have a child with somebody like Daemon, or an unknown individual for example. I know that isn't the order of how things are in the book, but there's nothing to say that it couldn't steer off slightly and exaggerate for the purpose of the TV show. During the latter half of the trailer, we had a shot of what looked like Sir Harwin Breakbone Strong, who is the Hand of the King's eldest son, having a fight with what looked like Sir Criston Cole. We know that Sir Criston has cut ties with Rhaenyra following what we saw unfold on the ship, and also the events of him killing Sir Joffrey at the wedding. His alliance with Alicent Hightower is something that's going to continue to grow, develop, and get larger as we embark on this episode. I imagine Sir Harwin is the princess's new protector, so maybe Sir Criston overstepped his mark. After this, we then had the line, "The consequences of an allegation like the one you tied will be dire." This was intertwined with close-up shots of Alicent, Rhaenyra, the king, and also the Hand of the King's younger son Larys, who, judging by episode 5 of the show, looks like he's a bit of a stirrer and likes to cause trouble with the words that he utters, so he may be spreading rumours about Rhaenyra and the child that she'd given birth to. The final scene that we saw in the trailer is of what looked like it could be theorised as Rhaenyra's son using the Dracarys command, as his dragon unleashed fire, showing that despite not having the distinctive Targaryen look, he's a Targaryen by blood and will also be a dragon rider. Just as another thought that's being thrown out there, I'm fully aware of the fact that it drifts off from the books, so it could be one of Alicent and Viserys' children, maybe Daeron, but the lack of the Targaryen look makes me think of an alternative theory, considering that the other children all have bright white hair and pale skin. It looks as though tensions are rising, sides are going to be picked, and the king could be on his last legs. I'm looking forward to seeing the introduction of the new characters, new cast members, and the performances that they're going to deliver as we set to embark on the final half of the season. So, there you have it, House of the Dragon Episode 6 Trailer Explained. If you want to see more videos on House of the Dragon, such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you want to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.